Hey there, this is attorney Sarah Holmes of Holmes Business Law P.C. We are a business and trademark law firm that also offers general counsel subscription services to clients. Today we're talking about how an employee handbook is maybe one of the most dangerous things in a business owner's life. Why is an employee handbook dangerous? Doesn't that sound odd? Isn't it a good thing that we make this handbook and we give it to our employees? So the answer is yes. Like, if you have enough employees, you should consider having a handbook. But what can go wrong in an employee handbook that makes it dangerous? Well, number one is we see a lot of people with employee handbooks that they didn't draft themselves, meaning the business owner didn't really draft it, and they didn't have legal counsel review it. Maybe they hired a consultant to do the handbook. Maybe they had their payroll company do the handbook. And why is that a problem? Well, the answer to that is that we find that when that's the approach a business owner takes to a handbook, they are not looking at that handbook and they are not actively involved in that process and making sure that the policies that they actually want to enforce and have apply in their business are included in their handbook. So for example, we have seen things in the handbook that talk about giving employees certain types of leaves, right? Like we had someone where their handbook stated that they were giving maternity leave to employees, right? That's a noble, honorable thing. No issues with that. The real issue, though, was that this company didn't have enough employees. They maybe had 3 employees. So we said, hey, are you going to offer a paid leave to people when you only have a few people on staff? Like, what would happen in that case? They said, we didn't know that was in there. They had no idea that was actually included in their handbook. So again, the problem isn't that the policy is there, that's a nice thing to do for your employees, certainly, but it wasn't really one that they even knew was in the handbook. And obviously, if they had an employee take advantage of that policy, it was going to be extremely detrimental to their business because they hadn't even planned for that in advance, right? They had no backup. They had no plan for if someone needed to take, 12 weeks off at a time. So that's the danger in doing that, is that whatever policies live in that handbook and you give to the employees, that's what you're going to be bound by, regardless of whether you say, oh, I didn't know it was in the handbook. We didn't really mean to put that in there. It doesn't matter. You gave it to the employees. The other thing where we found a lot of tension in handbooks is, again, the business owner was not actively involved in the handbook or didn't have legal counsel review it or didn't even know what legally had to go in it. And there's something in the handbook that conflicts with other documents they're giving employees. For example, an offer letter. We had someone in the past where the offer letter said one particular thing, let's say about time off, right? And whether time off were to roll over year to year or whether time off would be paid if this person were to quit their employment, right? The offer letter said one thing. The handbook said something different. The handbook said, you get this much time off, or these are the holidays, or if you quit, we don't pay these things out, or we do pay these things out, right? And so they then had an incident where the employee said, hey, you didn't pay me for this time. It's listed in the handbook that you're supposed to pay this time. And the business owner came back and said, hey, do we have to pay this? It's in the offer letter that we don't pay this. And the answer is yes, because you gave the employee the handbook and had him sign off on it, and that was your policy. You are going to have to always abide by the most generous policy that you gave to the employee. So despite the fact that the offer letter said one thing, you have something else in the handbook that gives them a higher level of benefit, and you will have to honor that. And you can see how if you have a bigger company, like let's say you have, at least 20 employees, and all of a sudden you find out that you are responsible for carrying over vacation days for 1 year or paying people out for unused PTO time that they don't use when they're quit or they're terminated. That can be a very, very expensive mistake to make. So if you are developing a handbook, you don't know what's in your handbooks, you're having a consultant do it, you're having your payroll company do it, and you never have it reviewed by legal counsel, or you never have it reviewed for consistency and quality in terms of what you actually want, that can be a huge mistake and a very, very expensive, dangerous mistake for your business. So of course, if you need help with the handbook, you need a handbook reviewed, you can reach out to our office. We have a great employment attorney on staff, and our number is 215-482-0285. Thanks.